Sharon McMahon, welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Thank you.
You have one of the most interesting Instagram accounts out there because it's not popular because of the destinations that are being listed. It's not popular because of thirst traps. It's not popular because of memes. It is popular because you give people facts. That seems ludicrous, and maybe 5 years ago someone would have said, why would anyone have an Instagram account where all they're doing is sharing facts? But that is what you do, and the last time I checked, you have something over 500,000 subscribers, and that number keeps jumping up and jumping up and jumping up. Let's start at the beginning. Why on earth would you start a fact-based Instagram account?
Well, it's not my incredible sweater collection that is interesting to people. I have been a high school teacher for a long time, and I started noticing an incredible amount. Trevor, maybe you've noticed this, an incredible amount of misinformation circulating on the internet. And it was one of those things where I just was, like my face would just get closer to the screen and I was like, what is even happening? Where does this come from? So I just started making some little videos about facts, and apparently facts are missing and facts are popular right now.
What do you think it is about these videos that engages with people so much? I mean, surely people can just get facts out there. Why do you think that they're attracted to your videos, and what keeps them engaged?
I honestly don't think people believe they can get facts. That is really the crux of the matter, is they don't understand where to get facts. They don't know who to trust. They feel like they're getting played every day. And so
Right.
it's like a game of survivor. Like, I don't know what the person's motivation is. I
Yes.
don't know if they're trying to swindle me. You know what I mean? Like, they're afraid of getting played. And I think when they maybe saw that I'm not a politician. I don't work for some big company. I literally am just a teacher. That has just resonated with some people.
It's resonated with them, but I mean, it's interesting that you haven't been dragged into anything because, facts, whether we like to admit it or not, can become a contentious conversation starter these days. Like some of the first videos of yours that I saw, which were really impressive, that people loved, were the ones that were about QAnon. And I mean, you were stepping into the fray with QAnon, debunking QAnon myths, and you had people on your page saying, hey, I believed in QAnon, and then I watched these videos, now I don't believe in QAnon. But now, my question to you is, how do you do that without getting dragged into the fray? Because oftentimes being for facts means that you're against somebody at some point.
Yeah. That is a question I ask myself every day. Like, I almost feel like, when is the other shoe going to drop sometimes? Like, when are the throngs going to come for me? That is a
Right.
thought that I have had for sure. I think part of it is just that I really work hard to stay respectful. I really work hard to stay respectful, to not make fun of people, to honor the fact that there are a variety of viewpoints, and that, I'm not here to try to convince you of my one perfect viewpoint.
Right.
That's the only answer I have. I honestly don't I don't I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop in some ways.
So when you're doing the work, you're digging and getting the information and you're putting together the facts. You had to do the same thing for QAnon. You had to do the research. How do you not get sucked into the QAnon conspiracies that you've debunked? Because I mean, some of them are really convincing. Clearly, people get sucked in. So how do you not get sucked into the things that are non-factual?
Yeah. That the QAnon research is some of the most interesting and also disturbing things I have
I can
ever learned.
imagine. Yeah.
Yes. It's like information you don't even really want to know. Like, you're like, I don't even know if I want to know this. Um, so the way I don't get sucked into it is that I have all of this education and experience about what the Constitution actually says, and I've been teaching the Constitution and government for so many years, and I've read the Constitution so many times. I know what's in it and what's not, and it's very easy for me to see, like, actually there is no second Constitution. You know what I mean? Like, actually, that's not real. The United States is not a corporation that was sold to London in the 1800s. It's just very easy for me to tease out what is real and what's not, and I also,
Right.
because of my education and experience in on this topic.
It feels like we live in an age now where there is there's a birth of information. I mean, it's everywhere, but figuring out how to sift through the information is something that we lack. And that is what I've always thought teachers do, is they bring you into this room where they help you sift through information as you are growing up through life. As a teacher, what do you think some of the challenges have been in teaching people things? Because people come in with preconceived notions of everything, and then you have to teach them, which means you have to unteach them.
Yes, this is the average American today. My experience has been that they have a very difficult time distinguishing between a lie and bias. They believe that those two things are the same.
Huh.
They perceive, let's say they watch one of your videos, Trevor, where you are, you know, going after Tucker Carlson.
Right.
Just for example, that's obviously a biased point of view, and that is a point of view that you are more than free to hold. They're free to hold a different point of view, right?
Right.
But at the core of, say, a video you may have made on that are actual clips of things he has said, actual facts about where he's gone to school. So
Right.
you have a biased lens about the facts, and so does every human.
Ah,
So does
okay.
every
Right.
human. This is not a dig on you in any way. We all have our own bias that we are looking through at a variety of topics. People don't realize that. They see a video like yours, if they are conservative, and they think, well, he's just a liar. They don't understand that there's a difference between a bias and a lie. And
Right,
so
right,
they
right.
are unable to engage with biased information that doesn't align with their viewpoint.
Huh.
Makes sense? So
That
if
that
they
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
look at a CNN article and it's about, let's say, Trump's tax returns, they see that, well, they just hate Trump. They're just out to get him. And
Right.
they immediately discount the information when the information is based on a factual Supreme Court ruling.
Right, right,
Like,
right.
that's what I'm finding, is that I need to spend a lot of time educating on the difference between bias and lie.
It feels like this is the great time to have you, and I think that's why you're being so successful. I mean, everything from Ted Cruz's trip to, what's happening in Texas, all the way through to, as you say, the Constitution and QAnon. You tackle a range of subjects, and you present it in a form that's easy to digest and people really enjoy. My question then to you is, where do you get your facts?
My goal every day is to read 5 to 10 news sources from across the spectrum. So I am reading everything from, the far right news to like the more extreme liberal news. When a story is of interest, let's say the most recent thing about, Ted Cruz going to Mexico, I'll
Right.
make a point of looking for that specific story from a variety of viewpoints,
Hmm.
always falling back to primary sources. You know what I mean? Like the journalism 101. I'm not a journalist, but that's, if you can find it in the Constitution, if you can find it in the actual text of the law, if you can find the actual documents,
Yes.
falling back to those is always key, as much as possible.
Before I let you go, you've also used your platform to help people in need. And you've been big in getting group philanthropy going and getting a lot of your viewers or your followers to join in and help worthy efforts. Most recently, you went after medical debt, something that a lot of people are struggling through right now, especially because of COVID. Talk me through that and what you've been doing and what you've been able to achieve.
I decided to partner with an organization called RIP Medical Debt, which is a 501(c)(3) organization. And what they do is they buy medical debt and they forgive it. And because they buy huge chunks of medical debt at a time, they're able to get massive discounts on it. So in 5 days, my community raised over $560,000 for
Wow.
this organization, which will forgive $56 million of medical debt.
Wow.
That is the definition of social media being used for good.
Right.
Crowd- Crowdsourcing help for people who need it.
You're doing an amazing job. I can see why you're so popular, and hopefully it goes from 500,000 followers to 1 million to 2 million and so on, because in a world with facts, maybe we can get to a place where we agree on reality, and then we just get to fight about what we think about that reality, which is
Yes,
the bias.
100% agree. Let's agree on facts, and then we can fight about real facts.
Yes, I
Yes,
love that.
yes.
Thank you so much for joining me on the
Thank you
show.
so much. Yes.
Take care.